Welcome back, everybody, to the Breachers VRML. I'm your host, Gibular Bob, and welcome back to the EU side of the league. Actually, I don't think I've seen any of you since last week. I got a little sick, so I didn't cast over the weekend, but I'm back now, and I'm ready to get into this matchup between two teams that I honestly really wanted to watch play again. They've both kind of lingered on my mind as two teams that I think are doing super well. They surprised me, and I really wanted to see them play. So, and what better way to watch these two teams play than against each other? SR had an incredible win last week against Cheeky Breacher. We all watched that live here on the Breachers VRML YouTube channel. And Formula 3 EU have really stepped up their game. You might have known them as Wrecked EU, but they just made the change back to Formula 3 EU yesterday. Same with the Wrecked team in NA. That's now Formula 3, and the team that was Formula 3 is now Formula 1. So kind of a big rebrand there, but in any case, let's take a look at the matchup data between these two teams. Formula 3 EU, you're looking at a 2-2-1 record. That means they've won 2 games, they've lost 2 games, and they've tied 1 game. SR with a clean 3-1 record. Best map for Formula 3 EU is Arctic, while Skyscraper is the pick for SR, along with Arctic. So I have a feeling we'll probably see that Arctic rework somewhere in the map pool today. Both teams seem to prefer it as a map. And let me go ahead and get one of these out while we're waiting. Just want to make a little poll for us over here in the chat, where you can all communicate who you think is going to be the winner of this matchup. Interestingly, on the connoisseur side of things, the vote is 18-17 in favor of F3 EU. It's actually 17-17 not too long ago, which is very interesting. Because that is not something that you often see. It's usually a lot more skewed in favor of one specific team. So to see the connoisseurs kind of set this up as a game that's going to be one to watch, I'm personally very excited to watch it, because I think this will be a very close game. Not according to people in the poll. 70-30%. There are 10 voters, and it's skewed heavily in favor of F3 EU. But That interests me because if you were here last week and saw the way SR was playing against a former finalist EU team, which was Cheeky Breachy, I don't know. I think that we might see we would see a more even split this time around. But in any case, the teams are getting ready to vote for their first map. Let me give them the go-ahead. Boom. And we're going to take a look at the first map that we're going into. I'm going to predict Arctic. 3 seconds on that. Oh, it's ship. Interesting. Okay. So the home team was F3EU. So that means they got to pick either the map or the side. And I would guess that they picked the map. Let's take a look at their data over here. For ship, it's not even on the board. Interesting. SR, 37 rounds played there. They've won 54% of those. So they do have a decent amount of history here on ship. And F3EU going to be a bit of a wild card in today's matchup. But that's exciting. That's why we love watching VRML. And we'll find out if F3EU can really pull this off against SR. Well, I guess... yeah, because I believe SR is number 2 in EU. They are. So it's the number 2 versus the number 3 team. We're going to see if F3 can pull off a win here and actually go above their NA counterpart. Because currently, Formula 3 NA is sitting in 3rd place. Same with Formula 3 EU. We'll see if they can nab back that 2nd place. But we are getting ready, and we are going to hop into our first map of this series, which is going to be ship. You join me here in Map 1 of SR versus F3EU. We won't have the scoreboard today due to the update that came out yesterday, but let's talk about that update while we have some time. These teams are going to be playing on the newest patch, which includes new throwing mechanics and a new grappling or rappelling mechanic. The rappelling mechanic, I would say, probably is the lesser of the two. Most notably, there is that brand new throwing mechanic. Of course, if you put up your left hand when throwing a grenade, you'll see kind of a throwing arc, and your grenade will travel along that path. So it makes throwing grenades a lot more precise in general. The fragmentation grenade will always have a 3-second timer on it now, so it's going to make it a little bit trickier to get good fragmentation grenade lineups. Smokes, they're going to be impact only, but here we go. Serenity immediately dropping 2 on SR. And catches a 3rd onto David, but does eventually get refragged by Paul. What a start to this defensive round for F3, though, as I think it's Zhang or Zhang QL. I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't know how to pronounce that name, but Paul, with a bit of lag there, does manage to get out the window, but picks up quite a bit of damage from Brother Quinn. Now just a minute 25 on the clock. And it's a 2 versus 3. Brother Nam, Suyalo, and Brother Quinn holding down sites A and B. And Brother Quinn still upstairs controlling that hatch above site A. Another interesting element of the patch, like I was talking about, is smokes are now, they now work off of impact. Suyalo looking to rotate around to site B. And I think SR might use this opportunity to get in there and plant the EMP. Suyalo, I think has heard that incendiary. It's going to look to toss a fragmentation grenade out, but they're caught. However, they do get a fragmentation grenade, an S-tier frag from Suyalo. Bonus points for being beyond the grave, but this last SR player is trapped. And Brother Nam will find that kill to give round 1 to F3 EU. A nice start to the round from this F3 team. They held down the sites beautifully. Serenity, of course, dropping a triple kill right off the bat. And I want to point out that that was a very, very smart move from Brother Quinn, who held control over this hatch in the helm. If you're defense, you need to keep this hatch under control. Actually, if you're offense, you want to make sure that nobody ever leaves that hatch once you've opened it, or else the defense can use it to get behind your push and absolutely devastate it. It's a mistake that I've seen all too often here on this ship rebalance. In any case, we're getting into round 2. Vezins coming out from F3, Serenity purchasing one, Brother Quinn with the other. Let's end that poll there. 60% with F3 EU, 39% said SR. And a trip mine kill from Yellow Mac. Oh my goodness. Unfortunate for Zhang. I think that's how you say it. I'm going to apologize in advance, but in any case, Paul pushing in, working off the drone from a teammate, getting that breaching foam down on site 8. It's an aggressive start as SR are on the move. And they're getting control. They have control over Workshop. F3 not pushing out. They're just going to hold the back of the room. And if they're... there's no kind of utility in the hands of SR other than a breaching foam. So I have a feeling that it's going to be very difficult to push into this room. Fragmentation grenade toss. Paul has nobody covering the swing, though. David manages to find one. There's a fragmentation grenade, and it catches Paul. Yellow Mac looks to push up. Almost finds Adam. They do manage to get that Jesper kill. That EMP's been planted, and it's now a 3 versus 3. Serenity pushing up into the breach, but decides to rotate off. David on the head peak as 2 quick kills fall in the hands of F3 EU. Brother Quinn going for that defuse pro-some fake. And David gets caught out by Serenity to make it a 2-0 game for F3. Very, very nice start to the first half of this matchup. And of course, we saw SR. I think the biggest issue they had with that particular play is they didn't have any kind of fragmentation grenade. So they all had the F3 members sitting in the back of pump right here, but they couldn't do anything about it. If they had a grenade, they could route players or maybe catch 1 or 2 picks off of some utility. But they were on an eco round, so they're looking to bounce back now. 4 Vezins in their hands. And here comes the utility from Zhang. And here we go into round number 3. Well, Formula 3 have certainly had a very, very nice start to this set. 2 rounds in the bag. They've secured both a pistol and the eco round off of SR. Can they make it a hat trick? 3 wins in a row. There goes the drone. It's immediately caught by Yellow Mac as F3 playing pretty far off of sight. Brother Nam is over on A, but they don't have too many players anchoring right now. And look at this. If it's a full send, and it's going to be a full send from SR, and Suyalo might get caught out here if they're not paying attention. There's the foam, and here comes the full send to Cinder. Finds 1, finds 2, gets refragged. However, SR have control over the room. This is crucial. 2 versus 2. Yellow Mac is going to get flanked by Paul, who finds one, but Brother Quinn was in the right place at the right time and found that headshot to make it a Formula 3 EU hat trick. Very, very well played from F3. Very well played by SR. It was a gamble, and unfortunately for them, they weren't able to catch all of the picks that they needed to and get full control over the room. It looked like they might have been able to make it work, but not quite at the end of the day. And with a 3-0 game for F3, they're going to look to make it a 6-0 first half lockout. That's still on the table for F3. And SR, well, they're on an eco round here. Only able to purchase 1 Vezin. So they're going to look for picks here. And if you're F3, I think you might want to follow the strategy you did before by keeping your players close to the site, because if one of them goes down, you don't want SR to be picking up that free Vezin off of it. In any case, here we go, starting off round number 4. Strong start for F3. Can they keep it going? We'll have a look at the scoreboard after this round. David, setting off a proximity alarm. F3 now know where this push is coming from. They only have 1 fragmentation grenade. David priming a frag. There you see, they're using their hand for that brand new aiming system. Great fragmentation grenade lineups as Adam catches the pick off of Yellow Max Serenity, catching that refrag. Dissender moving up to the head peak of Serenity, looking to bring it around the left and finds one, but gets caught as Brother Quinn finds David. Here's 2 players up on the head peak. Paul catches Brother Nom, and just like that, we're in a 2 versus 2 with 1:40 on the clock. Paul looking to move up to that breach. Dissender finding Brother Quinn, and it's now just down to Swialo to make this 1v2 clutch. They're over in pumps right now, just 1:20 on the clock. But that's a lot of time. That time is, I would argue, in favor of SR right now, because there's not too much pressure for them to make a move yet and get that EMP planted. Swialo's got the difficult task of taking out 2 SR players who are healing and recovering off of each other. 55 seconds on the clock. Swialo just watching both sides very, very carefully. And SR are playing off of each other very, very well. So Swialo is going to have to either make a very, very good play here, or they're going to go down because one SR is going to refrag off of the other. Not committing to a corner yet. Here comes the commitment from Swialo, waiting in the back corner. But SR are stacking on top of each other. This may work, or it could go very, very bad. Dissender goes down. Oh, and Swialo just tries to run away, but Paul catching that refrag, and SR have just entered into this matchup. Very, very unfortunate for Swialo there. If they committed, well, they likely could have found that kill. Let's take a look at the scoreboard here in this matchup. What a good opening from Serenity. I mean, making an impact with that triple kill on round 1. And they've been keeping their team alive and in this game, 7-3. Meanwhile, the kills are a lot closer over on SR. Paul, the kill leader, of course, tied with Dissender. And we're on round 5 of map number 1. The lead is currently in the hands of F3 EU. But will we see momentum start to shift in favor of SR? Especially because it's an eco round for F3. Brother Quinn with the hero buy. They purchased both that Vezin and the healing syringe, and it's vital that Brother Quinn stays alive and secures some picks with that Vezin so that the rest of the team might be able to secure some of the loot for themselves. 2 minutes on the clock. David, again, making excellent use of the new throwing system to get that fragmentation grenade exactly where they want to go. Brother Quinn preparing that smoke. There's, preparing the frag. There's the smoke that we were talking about. Brother Nom pushing in, catches the EMP off guard. Nobody was covering that swing. Brother Quinn dropping one. Meanwhile, 2 players rotating around, back through Helm. Brother Nom manages to secure a Vezin, and suddenly things are looking a little bit dangerous as Brother Nom with a quick double kill. Very, very well played there by F3EU. And it's now just down to Paul. Oh, how did things go so wrong for F3, for SR. F3 was on an eco round, and they managed to make it a 4-1 game. That's not good if you're SR. That was their opportunity to get that second round in. Maybe make this a 3-3 game. Let's take a look at that replay. And you just see Brother Nom won. And Zhang was just not watching at all. I guess the comm didn't come out in time. But we're seeing SR struggling a little bit here. This is very different to when they played against Cheeky Breachy. Seem to be a lot more coordinated, playing off of each other. We're seeing some kind of gaps in the team play here. Bot Tom currently filling for one of the SR players. Oh, and they invested in an Uricon too. Hopefully they can get that player back. There's Paul. They sell the Uricon, pick up the Vezin. Yeah, don't want to be going into this next round with a shotgun. I certainly love the Uricon, but wow, interesting economy choices from SR. Well, I guess they can't save their money. It is the halftime points. So we're going with a Cadillo, a Taurus, an Omen. Kind of a ragtag group of weapons, but it's going to come down to how many picks SR can get. And again, we're watching F3 play. Well, they've got 3 players playing on site. Brother Quinn offsite. And I just think that this is so risky. They only have 1 Vezin up. You don't want to feed them another. So if Serenity does manage to find a pick off of an unsuspecting SR defense, they're just going to need to rotate out quickly. Because you don't want to feed your opponent a weapon that's going to do a lot of damage against you. David's upstairs still. And Jung might get caught here. No! Serenity goes down to Dissender. And that's a free Vezin in the hands of SR. Yellow Mac picking up some damage through the wall from the Cadillo of Adam. Minute 10 on the clock. Here comes the grenade as Brother Quinn finds a pick before going down. Zhang catching Yellow Mac with a Taurus headshot. And this just did not go F3's way. Suyala finding the kill onto Paul. Zhang has pushed in. They're going to want to get that EMP planted in soon. 50 seconds on the clock. Brother Nom goes down to Dissender, who's got a very nasty angle. And Adam catches the second onto Suyalo, making it a 4-2 game with SR heading into their defensive half with some padding. And I think, I don't know, I don't know if that was the right way to play that if you were F3. Just keep your players on site because they gave 2 free Vezins to SR. That's exactly what we were talking about. Something that you don't want to do. And into round number 7 we go. It's going to be, there's a lot of pressure on F3 EU right now. SR have managed to pick up the 2 rounds that they could need if they want to turn this game around on their defensive half. So F3 are going to need to end things quickly. If you start that by taking this pistol round, and then the next round off of it to make it a 6-2 game, it's of course easier said than done. David tries to use that fragmentation grenade. It doesn't go where they want it to. Unless, of course, it was a bait. We'll find out. Brother Nom making their way to a red engine. There goes the wall. It's opening up. Into site B, fragmentation grenades tossed, and David picks up a lot of damage. Adam looking to play off of the bomb. 1:40 on the clock, and not a good frag. F-tier frag from Adam, but they do manage to catch the pick onto Brother Quinn. Now 1:30. Swell, Serenity, and Yellowmac all trapped in fire. Brother Nom making their way over into Workshop. Serenity catches the pick onto Dissender. Swialo takes out David. They're going to look to push in, but Paul is playing in the corner there. Oh, they're going to catch Swialo. They're going to look for the second. Serenity is very, very low. They go down to Paul, who's dropped a double kill. Yellowmac catches a lot of damage, and Brother Nom is down in the vent. They catch Adam. They catch Yang. It's now just down to Paul versus Brother Nom, and Brother Nom catches the kill. No way. Oh, heartbreaking for Paul there, who had such a good run. But Brother Nom manages to get through that with quite literally 1 health. They were 1 shot. Very, very nice round across the board from F3. Not to mention, it's a great way to start off the second half. We were talking about this at the beginning of the round, the previous round, that this is how you want to start. You want to take the pistol round, you want to buy a Vezin, take this round, and make it that 6-2 game. That's going to give F3 the best odds of bringing this first map home. The longer you stay on the offensive side in this map, the harder it's going to be for them to find some success against SR. It's all about cutting off the other team before they can build up too much momentum. SR, they had a round that they could afford to lose. That's why you go into the second half with a 4-2 game. But now is the time to lock in. You don't want to lose another round after this, or you're going to completely lose the chance of getting a win here on this first map. Serenity picks off David at the very beginning of the round. Zhang looking for a kill, but does not find one. However, both Yellowmac and Swiala have entered Helm. If they don't watch their left, they're going to be caught by this SR roamer. Oh, and they were spotted. Swialo catching the pick off of Zhang. Yellowmac with a crossfire kill onto Paul, who looked for some cleanup and just didn't quite happen. 1:40 on the clock. Adam playing close to the door, and that frag is going to force them to route into the back of the site where they're caught by Yellowmac. Dissender finds one. Zhang manages to get the trip mine kill, and Dissender goes down to Yellowmac, making it that 6-2 game with F3 EU now just 1 round off of a win against SR. What a strong opening by this Formula 3 EU team. Here come the Vezins and the Cadillo. Oh, interesting. I would have expected maybe Adam to go and play a little bit of support here for SR. Purchase some utility like grenades, stims. You got to make sure that your team stays alive. There's an incendiary, a static, fragmentation grenade. They're buying into this round. And why wouldn't you if you're SR? Because, well, this could be the end of your stint in map 1. And they've just been kind of struggling against this F3 EU team. We'll see if they can manage to find some more rounds here now that they have some Vezins under their control. Adam's got that Cadillo. They do have some utility. But F3 are very, very well equipped. And if they're going to end things off, now would be the time to do so. Double drones moving upstairs. Not a tactic you see that often. Heading down the green stairs. Zhang manages to catch that kill. As I wonder, I think David has been spotted, or at the very least, there's some intel. Oh, and they got cleared by that drone. That's why droning is so very important. And David's just going to have to be routed, as Zhang does manage to find the kill on a brother Quinn. That's a Vezin down. But they're going to want to recover. Yellow Mac picking that up. At the very least, you don't want to be going up against 4 or 5 Vezins. Both Zhang and Adam have to run with a Cadillo for this round. But a minute 15 on the clock. First pick has been given to SR. David didn't manage to get the roam, but they did catch a kill. Serenity finds Paul as Sissender with a very, very nice swing. Catches Serenity and gets refragged by Yellow Mac. Good coordination from both sides, but currently on the better end of the exchange is SR. 3 of their players are a lot healthier than F3, but Brother Nom does manage to get that heal off. And this could be where we see the ties shift. A grenade in the back of site A is going to catch a lot of damage onto Adam, who looks to swing out. Yellow Mac catches that kill, looks for the second, finds the second, and it's now just down to Zhang, who's over in the vent. They catch one pick. Suyala and Brother Nom in the back of site A. Zhang has caught one pick, and they catch the second on a Suyala, and they catch the third! It's a rampage from Zhang, who manages to clutch the round and keep SR in this game. And you gotta wonder, what was the plan there from SR? If you have intel on Zhang, you know that they have a weapon that fires fully automatic, or that does not fire fully automatic, it's semi-automatic. Play your numbers there. Get in there, and even if you lose one player, you want to make sure that you find the second one is going to find that kill. They're going to catch the refract. And I wonder, has that error cost Formula 3 EU this first map? Don't get me wrong, we're still a long way off. There's still plenty of time left in this game. 3 possible rounds. But it makes me a little bit concerned for F3 EU. They have 2 Vezins up. And SR, well, they also have 2 Vezins. They've got a Cadillo still. But neither side is able to fully buy 5 Vezins and the util that they need. So this is going to be a round that's, well, it's really important for either team, because I think if F3 don't win this, their chances of winning this map go drastically low. We'll find out what happens, though, as Zhang does look for one of those drones, doesn't catch it, and it's a double droning setup again from F3. 2 minutes on the clock. Yellow Mac does manage to get that wall into comms foamed. No roamer downstairs. All 5 defenders are on the 3rd floor of ship. Serenity pushing in from Coffee. David over on the left side of the map. Rotating back over to navigation. Here comes the 2-prong from F3 EU. Zhang looking for a potential pick. Rotating back towards the middle of the site. Paul Bringing up the right with that Spectral, as Zhang does catch one headshot on the brother. No, Dissender almost gets killed. Yellow Mac finding Paul and dropping a triple kill. A quad! Oh my word, can we see an ace here from Yellow Mac? It's now just down to David. The EMP has not been planted yet. And David making their way ever closer to the site with that Omen. Yellow Mac looking to get that EMP planted. It will go down. They don't have any audio cues of where David is. That's just pre-fire from Yellow Mac. Here comes the swing. Did Yellow Mac hear that? Oh, they might get surprised here. No, they flick onto the head. And what a way for Yellow Mac to end things off on map 1. Then with an ace. An absolute slaughterfest from Wrecked. Not Wrecked. Now I'm going and say the other name by accident. Formula 3 EU. Very, very well played by this team. And unfortunate for SR, they did not quite have the momentum or the teamwork that we saw from their matchup against Cheeky Breachy. It surprised me a little bit. Of course, F3 played a very, very good game of Breachers there. Of course, Yellow Mac ending things off with an ace. An incredible, incredible start. And going 16-7, by the way. And to their credit, both teams did go into the double digits. Zhang, 11-8, and Dissender, 10-9. And then Yellow Mac, 16-7, Serenity, 10-7. Looks like we may be getting either a rehost or a side swap. I think we're going to be getting a rehost here. Could be a timeout as well, but we shall see. Oh. Very good. All around from F3. Shout out to our people in the chat here. Filibust, how's it going? Capsay, Brabadabido, JJ, Scout. And it is going to be a rehost. And while I hop into this next server, let's talk a little bit about the sponsors that make this possible. Starting off with Triangle Factory, we do want to thank them for their long-term commitment to the Breachers VRML. We've been working with them since the preseason of this league. And they have continued to sponsor us, and they're sponsoring our prize pool once again. They've put our banners in-game. There's a Breachers VRML gun skin that you can get. There's a VRML finalist skin that's given out to the top 8 teams of each region. So big thank you to Triangle Factory and all that they do. Go check out Breachers. It's a very, very fun game, and I, of course, enjoy casting it every single time. Yeah, I hope you'll all continue to enjoy Breachers just as much as I do. But we do want to thank Triangle Factory, of course. Exclaim, the official merchandise store of the Breachers VRML. And they have also been our merch store for quite some time. You can get yourself a wide variety of wonderful little VRML merch. And of course, our teams do use Exclaim as a way of selling their own team merchandise. So if that's something you're interested in, consider affiliating with the VRML via Exclaim. I think that's our list of sponsors that I know are confirmed for this season. So it's a big thank you to our sponsors. But in any case, we're going to Hideout, which is the next map in this set. Let's take a look at the matchup page and see kind of where everybody stands here. SR, 9 rounds played on Hideout, 78% of them won. Formula 3 EU have played 47, and they've won only 47% of those rounds. So they've won less than half of their rounds that they've played on Hideout. Is that foreboding? Is that foreshadowing what might happen here on this map. I'm curious. Just giving the teams the go-ahead as we get started with our second match of the day here. Second map of the day. And a reminder that later on tonight at 8 o'clock p.m. EST, we do have another game on this channel. It's going to be Big Little Company versus The Neighbors. That's going to be hosted by the one, the only, Nightfire. So I hope you'll all enjoy that one as well. And we are getting ready to head into this hideout map. Looks like we are going to go ahead and... There we go. And now we're going to get started with our second map of the matchup, which is going to be on Hideout. All right, let's review the facts of the case. F3, take map 1, 7-3. SR have not had the start that they really would have wanted to. So, now that SR has gotten the opportunity to pick the map, and they get to rehost, will they be able to find a round against F3? This is a big moment for this Sunset Ravens team. If they can't find early defensive momentum here, F3 can quickly lock them out. We'll see what happens. They managed to dodge a bullet, F3, by picking up a round after their initial loss on ship. If it went any more than than 3 rounds for SR, it could have very, very well been a tie on map number 1. But F3, they didn't want to see that, and they are on the move here. Look at this aggressive start. Suialo finds one. Serenity dropping a kill as David on the flank manages to catch one, looking for for Yellow Mac, but doesn't find it. Now a 3 versus 3 with 1:45 on the clock. And Dissender over in Laundry goes down to Yellow Mac, who's still on fire after that ace from Ship, the last round of Ship. Brother Quinn over in Foyer as the wall has been opened. 1:30 on the clock now. David rotating back into Pantry. Here comes a fragmentation grenade over by Pantry. An S-tier frag, to be exact, as Yellow Mac catches another kill. They're unstoppable. And look at that, Brother Quinn with the lean. Very, very nice start to this hideout map from F3EU. And it was a strong, dominant push into the site. Very reminiscent of their NA counterparts. And I think there's a chance that we're seeing that same kind of energy from F3 that we're seeing from F3NA. They're both very aggressive teams. They play very fast, and I think we've seen that training come in for F3EU, and they're now able to. Well, I mean, I would say they've made a massive improvement from their Season 3 performance from their Season 2 performance. They were a finalist team in Season 2, but they didn't manage to make it to the end. But I think with this momentum, we could absolutely see F3EU challenging Acer EU, who currently holds the top spot of the EU leaderboard. And I'm excited to see Acer EU play. I haven't gotten the chance to watch their team yet, but watching Acer EU is, well, like watching Acer NA. It's fun. Yellow Mac picking up a kill to start off the round, not before Zhang finds a kill of their own, with a Taurus headshot. Absolutely brutal. baiting the trip mines from F3. And now, baiting the trip mines from SR. And now, 2 minutes on the clock. Oh, there's a fragmentation grenade toss, and it doesn't catch Dissender. Beautiful movement there. And they do manage to get that incendiary as Adam rotates up to the bomb. There is still an instant in the hands of F3. And there's a smoke toss in. Serenity looking for that EMP to get planted. They're covering the swings. David is on the flank. They catch the Vezin. One of the Vezins, Yellowmac, catching that refrag, though. They do have to secure one of those Vezins. Paul is downstairs. They catch Swialo. And it's now just down to a 1 versus 3. And Yellowmac dropped an ace to end off the previous map. But they're going to have an even tougher game here. And they just couldn't stand up to that challenge of 3 well-coordinated SR players. And it's now a 1-1 game. Unfortunate there for F3 EU. I don't think that's the way they anticipated that to go at all. They just weren't quite covering each other enough, and they gave up 2 free Vezins to SR. Not very good. Not a good way to start off round number 3. Especially because only Swialo and Yellowmac can buy Vezins again. And here we go. We're getting ready for round number 3. Neither team has pulled ahead yet. But it looks like this may go to SR if F3 don't get creative here. 5 Vezins, plenty of utility. But there is some potential here for F3 EU. If they can find a pick on David, Adam, or Zhang early in the round, they may be able to shut down some of that economy. But no matter what you do, Paul and Dissender are still going to be able to buy those Vezins. There we go. We see another impact smoke. What are your thoughts on the impact smoke? Do you like it? I've heard people who have liked it. I've heard people who do not like the new throne mechanics. So let us know in the chat. As that wall has opened up, Yellowmac with an initial pick onto David. That's 1 Vezin down. Yellowmac again making excellent use of their Vezin. They're definitely the MVP so far for F3. Serenity not too far behind either. Paul looking to push up as look at the stack here from F3. They're getting ready to triple swing into storage as Serenity catches Adam. That's another Vezin, another 2 Vezins in the hands of F3. But Serenity got a little bit too aggressive. Zhang taking out Yellowmac, who also got a little bit too aggressive. And it's now 2 Vezins versus 2 Vezins. This Brother Nom does get the heal off. Zhang taking out Brother Quinn. And can Brother Nom clutch this 1v2 to give momentum to F3? 50 seconds on the clock. SR have done a good job of making this round in their favor. 40 seconds now. And Brother Nom making their way through storage. Oh, I think they might have spotted the foot there from Zhang, who's over in the fort right now. Paul playing off of bomb. And Brother Nom making their way in. They catch 1. They catch 2. What an incredible double kill from Brother Nom to clutch up the round for F3. Make it a 2-1 game. And we're seeing SR getting challenged here. That defense, it was very unfortunate because Zhang's wall just kind of went through, Zhang's foot went through the wall, and that gave a little bit of intel to Brother Nom there. Unfortunate It's just kind of circumstance of the game and the player model itself. That is one of the risks that you run if you stand too close to the wall over by the fort, or kind of any breachable wall in general. And now, F3, field 5 Vezins, SR, ooh, they only have 1. Paul with the Viper, Zhang with the Taurus. Zhang has actually been doing a lot of damage with that Taurus. And I've got to say, I haven't seen a team that does as many double drones as F3. But they didn't get a whole lot of intel. Fragmentation grenade toss. Oh, that might get Paul. It catches a bit of damage, but there's intel. They now know that somebody's there, and that fragmentation grenade is going to route Yellow into the smoke where Paul catches that kill. A double kill. Oh my goodness, a slaughter! Brother Quinn manages to catch 1 refrag, but they're now alone in a 1 versus 3 scenario. And what do you do here if you're Brother Quinn? Oh my goodness. A team that only had 1 Vezin to start off this round now has 2. They've made a net profit off of, wow, Brother Quinn dropping right into site A. They catch 1 pick, looking for a second, but they're just caught out by David, making it a 2-2 game. SR not keen on falling behind to this F3 team. So a good switch up from Brother Quinn, but it didn't quite work. Into round number 5. And we still haven't seen a team pull ahead. Every time one team gets a little bit of momentum, goes right back the other way. And here we start off round number 5. 2-2 right now. And we're seeing Brother Quinn really acting as the... Uh-oh. They've been spotted. But we're hearing... Who's firing the Taurus? It's Serenity. But they've made so much noise over on F3 that SR have had the opportunity to completely rotate and set up for a defense on this site. That was a bit of a misplay. Proximity alarm, though. That would have... Oh, my goodness. Yellow Mac is caught immediately. Zhang dropping a kill onto Suyala. Serenity is going to be jiggled by Paul. Wow. What a headshot. And I really wonder what the strategy here was from F3, because it did not seem coordinated at all. Another proximity alarm reveals the location of Brother Quinn this time. They can't pinch from the big stairs, and they're going to have to rotate through the theater. Meanwhile, who's this? Brother Nom's still outside of the wine cellar. Brother Quinn makes their way down the small stairs, but with only 55 seconds on the clock, is there even time for F3 to clutch up here against SR? I wonder. That EMP. By the way, automatic EMP is a thing now. Brother Quinn's still picking the thing up with their hands, but... Uh-oh. Foam on the wall. There goes the breach, and... Uh-oh. Oh, that's not good. We saw that through the wall, but Adam finding Brother Quinn with a very, very brutal headshot there. And it's now just 15 seconds on the clock, and Brother Nom was looking the other way. I think that was not a very good round from F3 EU. I'm not sure what the plan was, because I think they got peeked by an SR player, and they just made so much noise that, well, SR completely rotated to counter them. And I'm not sure what was going on with the positioning there. Unfortunately, there were some unfortunate moments where a proximity alarm would give up some info. But as for why Brother Nom was looking towards the door and not the breach, I don't know. That's giving up even if the ideal scenario in the previous round would be to get some picks and shut down a little bit of extra eco from SR, but they weren't able to find any picks. And then, if you're not able to get any picks, at least save the Vezin. But no dice for F3. And we're going to start round number 6. 2 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock, as Serenity opens up that garage door. Adam tossing a frag. Doesn't find anybody. Incendiary tossed. And they were just anticipating a fast push from F3, but that hasn't happened. And F3, is that Brother Quinn leaning in the window? It is! Wow! Very aggressive lean from Brother Quinn. They managed to find a kill on a Paul. Yellow Mac makes their way into the garage where they're about to catch Adam, but no, Suella finds that first. Look at the blitz here from F3. They've made it a 4-2 already. And where was this coordination and focus in the previous round? Dissender looking for some shots through the wall. There it goes. Brother Nom firing in the back of the site. David catches one. Dissender finds two. And it's just down to Brother Quinn. Now Serenity, as SR with a brutal, brutal defense, managed to make it a 1 versus 2. And I think the pinch from Serenity has taken far too long, as their two other teammates did go down. And they're going to play off of each other, David and Dissender. It's the smartest thing to do in this situation, so that even if one of them goes down... Uh-oh. Oh, David. What a shot. You can see the head peeking there. And, oh my goodness, what a shot from David. Making it a 4-2 game. Heading into our second half. F3, EU, now taking the defense. SR on the offense. This is a little bit troublesome for F3. That first half has not gone the way they wanted it to. It was a good start, but they have kind of struggled ever since that first round win. They did manage to make it a 4-2, but they are going to need to... I think we might need to see some practice here over on Hideout. We'll see how their defense does, but I wasn't very impressed with their offense. And I don't want to make it sound like I'm picking on a team, but there were some questionable choices that you really need to make note of when you're VOD reviewing, if that's a practice that F3 follows. But watch this back and really analyze some of these rounds that they've given a lot away to SR. Figure out what you can do better next time so that you can avoid a similar scenario. Serenity almost getting some damage from David. Sweet Hollow actually picks up some damage from David through the wall. Very nice shot placement. 1:50 on the clock. And we're going to see Serenity swing out with a Cyclone. The thing about the Cyclone is that you'll probably be only able to find one pick, and they do manage to get it. But they go down to Adam, and Serenity just getting a little bit too aggressive. David gets that EMP, is going to get started with the plant, but they have space still. The instant wasn't far enough. It was too shallow. David gets that EMP planted, and now SR have a lot of momentum here and a lot of power. They've got somebody playing on the window. That's Adam. David on the door. Yellow Mac, Brother Nom, and Brother Quinn can pull this off, but they're going to need to play very, very smart. Oh, I forgot about Dissenter on the stairs over there. And David goes down. Brother Quinn gets refragged. Dissenter manages to drop the double, though. And Yellow Mac is going to get caught out here by one of the three players. And this is just an iron grasp on the site from SR. And there's just not much you can do if you're Yellow Mac. And time is going to expire on the EMP. And SR claim their 5th round against F3EU. And let's talk about that. I mean, I think really what happened there is that Brother Nom did not find the pick onto Dissender. He was on the stairs. If Dissender went down, there was potential that F3 could have brought that round home, but it didn't happen. And now SR are going to pick up a Vezin, 2 Vezins to be exact, and they are going to try and find that early momentum. And we could potentially see a repeat of what happened on map number 1, where they go and shut out F3EU before F3EU can build up too much momentum here. We'll see if that happens. And there we go, starting off round number 8 with an immediate opening as Dissender finds Serenity with that Vezin. And what a start for SR. Zhang looking to move into storage. What a roll! Oh man, but you can feel that 3-second timer on the fragmentation grenade, and a frag that might have normally found a pick hasn't worked out. But we do see the EMP getting planted by SR. Brother Nom manages to catch a pick, but it's too late. SR have guaranteed that we're going to go to a 3rd map. It's now 2-6. One more win, and it's going to be 2-7 with SR bouncing back after a very, very tough first map. What do you do here if you're F3? Well, they're going to need to start finding... They're going to need to start by finding some good picks. Find that first pick of the round and build off of that. They're able to field 4 Vezins. Brother Quinn playing a bit of support. Purchasing that Omen and some extra util for the team. And that's, again, something that you'll want to do. If you're in F3's shoes, you need utility. But they are investing. You'll notice that 3 of their players are on 0, and the other 2 have 25. And that's because, well, if they lose this round, they're going to lose the whole map. Best case scenario right now for F3 is to bring it back 4 rounds in a row and tie Hideout. And that fragmentation grenade just not going where they want it to. A D tier frag. With 2 minutes, 10 seconds on the clock. Flashbang tossed in. Yellow Mac tossing a frag in response. And it's an S tier frag as Brother Quinn. Yellow Mac dropping 3. Oh my goodness, what a rampage again from Yellow Mac. They just can't be stopped, and Brother Quinn finds Adam. And just when I think maybe some people were starting to write off F3 in map 2, they pull off something like that. And it's got to be frustrating for this F3 team because, well, if they pulled that out just, in the pistol round, they might have actually been able to find that win on this map against SR. But no such luck. And we're going to be going to that third map, but it's all about making it 6-6 here for F3. So that way they could make map 3 as easy as possible. They would just need to get 6 points. They don't have to get the full win. In any case, here we go on to round number 10. This is either going to end with SR pulling out a map win, or it's going to end with F3 staying in the game for just a little bit longer, extending their time in hideouts. Big moment for either team. F3, remember the challengers here in this matchup. They're looking to take that second place spot from SR. With 2 minutes and 15 seconds on the clock. Drone moving up through the family room balcony. Here comes the push from SR. 2 minutes on the clock. His brother Quinn just hanging around in the back of the bathroom. 1:50 on the clock. Zhang looking to push up through the stairs, get that EMP planted, but they're going to want to take out that static field emitter. There's the fragmentation grenade. It's going to clear up any kind of utility that F3 has placed. What? What? Where did it go? Okay, Yellow Mag finding a pick through the wall. Where did that incendiary go? I can't see it at all. There goes the wall opened up, a smoke toss in, an instant toss in. It's now or never for Zhang. They're going to have to get in and get that EMP planted. Brother Quinn can't go. It's in the fire. Yellow Mac looking for a pick, and Brother Gom finding that S-tier frag against Zhang. Dissender takes out Brother Nom in the smoke, or not in the smoke, in the fire. But it's a quick bounce back here from SR, and Dissender not happening twice in a row where they cause the defeat of F3 in a round, because it's now a 4-6 game. With F3 now just 2 rounds off of tying this up. Oh my goodness, what a game it's been so far. I'm so perplexed by that incendiary. I can't be the only one that saw that and how it just disappeared. I could hear it. You could hear the instant noise, but interesting. So time is running out here for SR. They're at match points. But the problem is they don't have a whole lot of money in this round. Only able to field, I think it was 1 Vezin. Yeah, only 1 Vezin. And meanwhile, F3, their pockets are pretty lined right now. They've got a lot, they've got 5 Vezins, they've got a lot of util. And the pressure is on for SR now to find a win here against F3. You're on an eco round, but the goal here is to do as much damage to the economy of F3 as possible. Look for some picks. See if maybe you can harvest a Vezin off of this. But SR certainly have their work cut out for them. 2 minutes on the clock. Serenity looks to get maybe a little bit of an aggressive peek. There's, oh, it's a bait. It's going to be a switch up from SR as they open up the wall. Yellow Mac rotates over to site A, and here's the window. Here comes the push in from Adam, and Yellow Mac looks to catch 1. They catch 2 off of that beautiful double. Zhang looks to push onto the door, but the timing is very, very off here from SR. Flash tossed in frag tossed in. It doesn't find anybody. Incendiary in the middle of the floor. Brother Quinn, however, makes it out in time and catches a pick. And SR are in a lot of trouble. It's now just down to Paul and David. And from my prediction here, I think they're going to immediately switch things up and try to attack the connector. Have Brother Nom and Yellow Mac heard about that? Oh, there it goes! And Yellow Mac goes down! But a collateral from Yellow Mac. Yellow Mac shot through and found David. Didn't kill the second person, though, but they were refragged. So, what an incredible game this has been. I mean, F3EU now 1 round off of tying up this second map. Will they be able to use this momentum to bring it home? You don't want to see them go 5-6 and then SR finds a crazy round and manages to go 7-5. That would completely undermine everything that F3 had worked for this entire map. But in any case, yeah, I mean, we saw that Hideout was kind of a 47. It was 47% of the rounds played were won by F3EU. And that's, yeah, I wonder, if you're F3, maybe consider banning Hideout in the future, because they're not really playing as well as I think they did on ship. They were very dominant on ship, and this has gotten very, very close. And they're forced to play for that tie. They can no longer go for the win. And it's an early fragmentation grenade tossed. And it catches damage onto both Adam and Paul. But Yellow Mac goes down. Brother Nom with a double, though. As it's now down to a 4 versus 3. I was going to say, concerning that Yellow Mac goes down. They were the top frag for F3EU. I had to verify that what I was saying was true there, but a minute 45 on the clock. We're on board with Paul now with just a minute 35. The wall has been foamed into kitchen. But SR don't have a whole lot of options here. Proximity alarm going off. And eluding the locations of SR to this F3 defense. Now just a minute and 10 seconds on the clock. Frags tossed into the back of the site. Paul looks to push up into the breach, but just hangs back. But the longer they take to push, the more dangerous this is becoming for SR. They worked so hard to get 6 rounds. And they played so well, and we're seeing a complete switch up over to Site A. Dissender picks up some damage. A bad smoke from F3 clouds their vision, pun intended. Serenity finds the kill onto Paul. As it is now a 4 versus 2. Dissender goes down to Serenity, who's playing aggressive in Garage, and no, it doesn't happen. SR don't manage to get that round win. And map number 2 is going to be a complete tie between F3EU and SR. Very, very well played by both teams. Unfortunately for SR, it's gotta sting a little bit, because they put in 6 great rounds against Formula 3, but it just wasn't enough to carry them over the finish line. And now they're going to be stuck trying to tie up this series in general. So how does this work now? Well, F3, they won map 1. Map 2 was a draw. So if F3 gets 6 rounds in this third and final map, it's going to be an F3 win. It's going to be an immediate series win, because there would be no way for SR to tie and then win that matchup. So a lot of pressure, a lot of pressure now on SR to get this collection and tie up this series against F3. That's their only hope right now. Let me give the... Oh, I wonder if we're going to have another rehost. Let me see if I can find out what's going on. Oh, it might be a timeout. Let us see. While we're doing that, let me quickly read off the scoreboard here. Yellowmac going 14-10. Once again, dropping double digits. Brother Quinn 10-7. Brother Nom 7-8. Serenity 8-8. Swialo 4-8. And over on SR, David 13-9. Dissender 8-7. Adam 8-8. Paul 7-9. And Zhang 4-10. And it looks like it will be not only a rehost once again, but it will also be a timeout from SR. That's a good call. Reset the mental, figure out how you want to approach this third and final map. But for now, we are going to take a short break. Don't go away. We'll be right back for the third map in this incredible series. We'll be right back. Boo. I bet you weren't expecting that. I came back 10 seconds earlier. You got the Gibby Bob jump scare. Welcome back, everybody, to the Breachers VRML in our Formula 3 EU versus SR series. The teams are back after a wonderful little timeout taken by SR. We've seen some roster changes just on SR. Their captain, Jedi Milo, has made an appearance. We're currently waiting on one more to connect for F3 EU. But let's talk about this series. I mean, this has been... it's been back and forth between both sides. Map 1. We saw some momentum from SR, but Formula 3 EU rampaged through that SR defense and brought Map 1 home 7-3. Map number 2, SR absolutely destroyed in the first half of the game. Made it a 6-round lead over F3. And F3 brought it back. It was a 6-2 lead over F3 EU, and F3 EU won 4 rounds in a row to clutch up and tie map number 2. So... this has created an interesting scenario for the third map, where if F3 EU win 6 rounds, they win the whole series. If SR, however, finds the map, well, the series is going to be a complete tie. And we are going to go ahead and get started into our final map of the series, which is going to be Skyscraper. And here we are, the final map of the series here, F3 EU. Well, they don't have all 5 of their players in. They're stuck with Bot Neil right now. At least Neil is sticking with the rest of the team, you know. But in any case, we're seeing SR on the defense, F3 EU. On the offense, quite a few spectrals coming out from both sides. The Taurus being used by Bot Neil. And we'll see if F3 decides to maybe kill the bot at the beginning of the round. Neil opens up the south stairs door. Oh, and Swiala connects. Okay. Swiala made it back in the nick of time, and sometimes the bots have a tendency to just rush in immediately. So, luckily for Swiala, Neil didn't decide to push in, and they were able to reconnect in time. Zhang is over in storage right now, waiting for F3 to perform a little pinch there, but the podcast room is opened up. Zhang finds Swiala immediately. Yellow Map picks up a lot of damage. SR are starting off on the defense here, so they have that stronger half. They're on a map that they perform very well on. So things are set up to fall their way, but we'll see if F3 can maybe defy the expectation here. Brother Quinn enters podcast room, but the push was not coordinated at all. And they go down to a double fire setup from SR. Now just a minute 15 on the clock. Serenity has been making their way through Upper North Hall. And Paul drops 2 kills to make it round 1 in favor of SR. And let's take a look at the matchup data really quick. Yeah, best map for SR. They've played 7 rounds here. They won all 7. F3 EU. Oh. They've played 7 rounds and they have not won any of them. Okay. Well. Okay, it's just 7. So that doesn't mean everything. You know, statistics, they don't determine everything in the Breachers VRML. But I'm very curious because even if SR picked the map, that means that F3 would have gotten the chance to pick the side. Are they trying to get their offense out of the way first and maybe try and pick up 2 rounds and then have a really good defense like they did last time? That could be the strategy going in here, but they're going to need to find some rounds against SR. And if it goes anything like it did in the previous round, we may be on track to seeing a tie in this series. Zhang finding a headshot onto Yellow Mac. 2 minutes, 15 seconds on the clock. Suella does manage to knock out the window into upper lounge. 2 minutes. And again, all 5 members of SR staying pretty close to their site. Dissender catches the refrag onto Serenity. And we see a push coming in through upper lounge, but Paul taking out Brother Quinn with that Omen. Now 1 minute 45 seconds on the clock, and it's 2 versus 4. They've managed to find some picks over on F3EU. They do crucially just have Jesper, Suella, and Brother Nam. Suella managed to pick up that Spectral. There goes the wall. It's been opened up, and Paul may catch one or both picks here playing on the breach. Only 1 minute 15 on the clock. Fragmentation grenade is tossed. I don't think it picked up any damage. 1:10 now. As Paul is still just staying planted in that corner. And Suella and Brother Nam have both moved into Site A. There is still a Vesm from... Oh my goodness. The Vesm was in the hands of Zhang. But Jedi Milo finding the Omen onto Suella and Dissender catching that second pick to make it a 2-0 game. And this is not good. I ran a poll over the break asking who would win map number 3. The results of that vote are in. 26 people voted. 69% said F3EU. 30% said SR. Okay. And, yeah, I wonder if the people who made those votes for F3EU are starting to maybe doubt that a little bit. They've had 2 rounds. Now, granted, it was a pistol round and then an eco round off of a pistol round. A couple of the players were super ecoing as well. So, potentially, F3 could bring it back now that they have rifles in hands. They've been able to do it before. But they are going to need, they're going to need to lock in here and find some rounds fairly soon. You don't want to lose too many. You have to go into the second half here with at least a 4-2 game. Well, actually, no, see, because F3 could manage a 5-1 if they play it perfectly. Because they just need to get 6 rounds. That's their overall objective. Now, you don't want to go into the second half 5-1. Worst case scenario is that they get completely locked out and then they have to win 6 rounds back to back, which would be a very, very big challenge. But for F3, it's all about not crashing just as we reach the finish line. Wow, Suella, very nice trip mine defusal. As F3 are making their way into the bathroom, 1:35 on the clock. Serenity is over in offices and nobody is watching. This is not going to end well for SR, I don't think, at all. And Jedi Milo, not a great throw. And they're going to walk right into Serenity here. Oh my goodness, wow, Serenity takes out Jedi Milo. And that was quite the setup there. Finding a second kill. There goes the wall. It's been opened up. And it's now a 3 versus 4 as Zhang is making their way through lower north. David finds the kill onto Brother Nam's Suella, making their way across the catwalk. And here's the big challenge for SR. They're going to have to play the site retake game because Suella is going to go into a zone where they have complete control over. Serenity playing close to the door. Catches the pick on a Dissender. Zhang looking for some shots, doesn't find it. David makes their way through the office hallway. David finds the kill on a Suyala. Zhang taking out Yellow Mac, and David finds Serenity. Very, very well played from both Zhang and David. Not getting shaken up at all, and they secure a hat trick heading into round number 4. Very, very nice start from Sunset Ravenson. Hopefully for F3, they don't continue their record of a 0% win ratio on a map. They want to find at least one here. At least raise it a little bit. You don't want it to be 0% of your rounds won here, but we shall see. What's going on, Atomic? Good to see you. Rise, Voltal, Pedal, VR Man. Welcome, everybody. If you're just joining us here, this is Formula 3 EU versus SR in the Breachers VRML Season 3, Week 5. And so far, Map 1 went 3-7 in favor of F3. Map 2 was a draw, 6-6. And so far, we're seeing SR taking the lead on map number 3. I knew this would be a close battle. And so did the connoisseurs, as the vote was, last time I checked, 18-17 in favor of F3 EU. Could go either way. F3 not off to the best start. They had a pretty decent setup in the previous round, but they weren't able to quite bring it home. They just didn't have the health. We've seen a disconnect from SR. Bot Tom makes their way onto the defense, and hopefully for SR, they can get that 5th to connect. Never like to see technical issues, but we do see a setup from Brother Quinn. They're heading right into the red room, and no trips as F3 making their way into the server room push onto broadcast. We do see, I believe it's Dissender, reconnect for SR. Yellow Mac picking up some damage through the wall. Nothing to write home about, though. 1.5 minutes on the clock. As here comes the setup from F3. David is getting ready to spring a trap on the door and may find some kills onto an unsuspecting F3. Oh no! F-tier frag. And there's a second one tossed in the back as Paul finds Yellow Mac with a trip mine. Uh-oh. That's also not very good. David drops not one but two. They're going to push for a third. They find it. David looking for a fourth. They find it. Wow, David. Save some kills for the rest of the class, please. Very, very nice quad. Beautifully played up on the door. I don't know. Players who seem to play on that door always bring out some of the best clutches. We're seeing a couple of disconnects. Quite a few disconnects from F3 EU. Currently, Brother Quinn and Brother Nam are the only two players on F3's side. So I'm curious to see. Oh, we just lost another one. Is the server crashing? Uh-oh. Oh. People are connecting back, I think. Now, this would be heartbreaking if we can't get people back in. Okay, no. People are connecting. We see Serenity's back. Suyala's back. Brother Quinn never left. Jedi Mila's here. David, Dissender, Paul. Ew. Hopefully that does not happen again. Bot's getting into some battles as Nick finds the kill onto Bruno. Beautiful stance there. And Brother Quinn is shooting into the corpse. It's a bit buggy. Paul finds Spot Wesley. Well, looks like all of SR has made their way back in. F3 have made their way back in. And that was quite odd. We just had a bunch of disconnects from both sides, but it's been a race to see if you can get back in. And Paul is going to push the vent. Suyalo manages to back away from that. They weren't quite able to get the EMP, though. Now a 2 versus 3 as we see another disconnect coming out from SR. And a minute and a half on the clock as Dissender might pop out here on Serenity. Oh, and there it is. It's the pick. David finds another kill that David cannot be stopped. And it's now just down to Swialo. And what do you do here? Maybe save. Maybe save the Vezin. Don't toss the frag off the building. That's kind of the one thing you don't want to do. You know, ESTF, there's supposed to be law enforcement here. You could hurt somebody all the way below. In any case, 55 seconds on the... Oh, no, that's not good. Swialo manages to get that frag back into the site. They caught 2 HP off of David. 40 seconds. They weren't able to pick up the EMP, and now SR knows that they have possession of it, so Swialo's got no choice but to make this push here. 30 seconds now. And really, I mean, if you're Swialo, maybe just save the Vezin. Because Serenity, I don't think is going to be able to buy, so... No, they're going to push. And they're playing off the vent, and this is very aggressive. They're making a lot of noise here. Oh my goodness. Swialo, the stealth master. They managed to get the EMP down. I don't know, maybe you rotate back into offices. There's 2. There's 3 charges, and Dissender manages to find Swialo there and get that EMP planted. That was probably one of the most bizarre rounds I've ever seen in the Breachers VRML. Just all around that I can't really explain to you what happened there. Was mass disconnects into one of the most bizarre endings. We had frozen bots. I wonder if that bot is all the way outside of offices still. Nope, they're gone. They just became kind of like a set piece after dying there. Very, very bizarre. Very, very bizarre ending. And unfortunately for Formula 3, they have not been able to get Yellowmac to reconnect. So they are down in players. They did get a sub, Capse, or Yazpak, a league substitute. And we'll see if maybe they can find some offensive momentum. They are now 1 round off of getting locked out of the first half of Skyscraper here. So now is the time for F3. Oh no, and they just had another disconnect. I really do not know what the issue is here with the servers. Okay, Yellow Mac connects for their team. Did they have a... I don't know. We'll find out what their kit is. Capse picks up a lot of damage, and David finds Swialo. And they're in trouble here over on F3. They're quite softened from that initial gunfire, but Capse and Brother Nam find 2 key picks to keep them alive in this round, and it's a 3 versus 4. David is ready on yet another one of these insane traps that they set. I want to see this. I want to see this from the eyes of the killer. Will David find the kill? They managed to find one onto Brother Nam. Looking for a second, but they don't find that one. Fragmentation grenade tossed out. I don't know where that... Was it not primed? Interesting. It was not primed. It's a dud grenade. So that's something that F3 could potentially pick up here. Capse does pick it up and tosses it in. That's going to at least route somebody. David picks up a lot of damage. Just and they're playing up on the breach, and they get Brother Quinn down very low, and Yellowmac on the pinch. And Yellowmac, with an insane push on the last round of the first half, manages to make it a 5-1 game. Now, Formula 3 EU. Remember, if they get 6 rounds in a row, or no, excuse me, if they get 6 rounds at all, it will be a win for, I think maybe voice chat's not working either. Oof. Very rough. That's unfortunately one of the difficult parts of playing after an update is that things, there are some bugs that do need to be fixed, and things may be a little bit unstable, but it is what it is. And it looks like both teams are still managing to be good sports despite all of the technical issues they are experiencing. And now here we go. In round number 7. Wow, Rise, you called that perfectly. Capsa super sub coming in. Wow. Bonus points. Shout out to Rise from Acer EU, the captain. 2 minutes, 10 seconds on the clock. As F3 starting off their first round on the defense. They need to win 5 rounds in a row to win this series. David finds the kill onto Yellow Mag. What a slaughterfest! As Suella finds 2. Brother Nam moves in. Jedi Milo goes in. And Suella finds their 3rd kill. The 4th kill from Suella. Why not just add another one on top of it, too? As F3 EU have begun once again to clutch up here against SR. And they did lose their substitute. Serenity has reconnected. And we shall see what F3 can do. Can they completely turn this around? They are now just 4 rounds off of winning this series. Still, no matter what way you slice it, it's going to be hard for them. I mean, 4 rounds in a row is not easy. Even if you have these initial 2 from an eco advantage, but here we go. 2 minutes 25 on the clock. Dissender makes entry on Upper North. Yellow Mac playing in Upper Lounge. 2 minutes 15 now as a fragmentation grenade is tossed. Jedi Milo picks up quite a bit of damage in that window. Do see some Taurus fire. Brother Nom taking Paul out. Finding the first pick of the round. Dissender picks up a lot of damage. Brother Quinn, however, getting baited into dropping a Vezin. And Serenity goes down. Uh-oh. Is this what they needed over on SR? But the Vezin goes down. Yellow Mac looking to get that picked up. And Dissender pushing onto that. They do get possession of the Vezin. But it's costing them. And it's now just a 2 versus 1. Oh my goodness. Shang! Shang just clutched up and found the pick onto Suiolo. Oh, that is not good if you're F3. That is very, very bad. They can only field 3 Vezins. Let's talk a little bit about what happened there. We did see, it started with Brother Quinn, and they got a little bit over aggressive. And this is why you don't do that with a Vezin. If you have a Vezin off of a pistol round win, stick to the site like glue, or stick to your teammates like glue. Because if you drop that Vezin in an area where your opponents can recover it, they are going to turn it around and use it on you. And that's exactly what happened. And in order to get that Vezin to prevent SR from using it, they had to give up free picks to SR. So it was really a battle of proper positioning from SR and really setting up their team for success. Very nice bait onto the Vezin player. And this has put F3EU in another very bad position. If they lose one more round, it's going to be a tied series. And we're going to have to see this matchup settled another day. And here we go. One of the windows open in the bathroom. Here comes the drone pushing in. Jedi Milo on the move, foaming the bathroom wall. Now just a minute 40 on the clock. Yellow Mac looking to push up to the vent. There goes one wall. Here comes the two-prong. Serenity sitting in the booth. Brother Quinn in the middle of the room is caught out by Jedi Milo. Very nice shot placement. David finds Brother Nom, making it a 5 versus 3. The 3 Vezin players are still up. Jedi Milo, Serenity catching 2. Paul still playing on the breach. They catch Serenity. Swialo, and it's now just a 1 versus 1 between David and Swialo. You can see just the shaking from David right now. This is such a stressful situation. Only a minute left on the clock. David has that cloaking device and is going to use that to their advantage to swing here. You can just see the shaking from David. The nerves, as Swialo, I think, may have gotten some intel off of that jiggle peek. But there's only 45 seconds on the clock. I don't think they actually saw David. But there's a door blocker up. So David's choices are limited here. And they're going to push in. Recover the stem. Look for the swing on Swialo. Oh my goodness, David, what a flick! No way! Wow, F3EU unable to pick up Skyscraper against SR. They hold on to it. Wow. What a battle between these two teams. Unbelievable. A fantastic game. And what a pick from David to wrap things up for this series. 7-3 with map 1 going to F3EU. 6-6 a draw, and finally 2-7 map 3 going to SR. We did have a disconnect from F3EU, but I'll take a look at the scoreboards really quick. Swiala 7-8, Brother Quinn 3-7, Yellow Mac 4-7, Brother Nom 3-8. Their final players left, so we don't have their score. But David 16-4 from David. Absolute monster on this map. Zhang with 6-3, Paul 7-6, Dissender 6-6, and Jedi Milo 4-5. And what a battle it was for second place in the EU region of Breachers VRML. I mean, all around, very, very well played by both sides. And ironically, SR are going to come out with more total rounds than F3 by just 1. In a matchup that looked like it was going to go F3's way at the start of this map, it has been completely upset for SR to bring home another win. And SR, they found their groove, and on Skyscraper, they are a force to be reckoned with, as you can see. Very, very nice defense that really set them up for success. I gotta know. I really wonder what the kind of the strategy was there from F3. I want to know how they ended up not only on Skyscraper but on defense or on offense first, because I think if they started on defense, they may have had the opportunity to get those 6 rounds before SR could. But in any case, that is going to do it for us over here at the Breachers VRML. Thank you once again to our sponsors. A tremendous game. I hope you enjoyed it all as much as I did. And don't forget that later tonight at 8 p.m. EST on this very channel, we will have The Neighbors versus Big Little Company. That's going to be hosted by the one, the only Nightfire. For now, I've been Gibbular Bob. This has been the Breachers VRML. We'll see you all in the next cast. Have a fantastic rest of your night, everybody.
VRML is brought to you by Helga, the esports manager, Triangle Factory. Thanks for watching VRML.